Hi, welcome back to the course. We are beginning one more semester of our technical level course at the Escola de Música de Brasília, which would be similar to the intermediate level. This is the very first semester which we will approach some masterpieces. Of course, we have played before some very interesting pieces of music, but those virtuoso masterpieces, that's when we are about to start studying them. And therefore, given that this is the level of excellence that you are supposed to fulfill, and you must have had at least 4 to 5 years of guitar studies, this piece right now you must play without any buzz. It's not reasonable for someone with that level playing one piece that doesn't have so much position changes. It happens all throughout the 5 first frets. It's quite easy, it's quite slow, so there are not so many scales. This is the kind of piece that you should be able to play without any noise, without any buzz at all. And the way to avoid any buzz on the right hand is to play as if you were about to hold a glass. So the movement comes from this articulation, the upper one, and you are playing as if you would be holding a glass, instead of playing as if you were about to pull the strings up and make a hand it's similar to a cat hand. So the movement comes from here, and then you try to take the strings up. That's not the good movement. You should avoid that movement and use the movement which you pull the strings down, and you push the strings down, because you're moving as if you're going to hold a glass. On the left hand, what you must do to avoid any buzz is to place your finger always the closest possible to the fret. When you play far from the fret, you need to put more strength to avoid buzz, and sometimes the strength required so much that you can't do it, and then it buzz. So practice always very close to the fret. And when you are really close to the fret, you will feel on the corner of your hand, of your finger, the fret. You must aim for that feeling and be really there, close to the fret. If you really go there, you're going to feel on your finger the fret. You must look for that feeling, okay? This piece has a lot to do with harmony. The melody itself are no chord notes. There are lots of arpeggios in the melody. So there are 2 melodies. One melody up, and then an accompaniment down. Okay, but it's also everything that's going on is very related to the harmony. So we must look chord per chord, and when we have some fingering challenges to deal with, I will also talk about them. So it's I must remind you that we have those three harmonic tensions: the tonic, which is relief, the subdominant, which is the moderate tension, and the dominant, which is this very strong tension. And we have the relatives and the anti-relatives, which are substitutes of that. So a tonic relative is as if a vice president. So the tonic is relief, the tonic relative is like a vice tonic. Okay? So we start at the tonic, dominant, tonic, subdominant, dominant of the dominant, dominant with an appoggiatura, then still dominant. Now we are back to the tonic, and here there are some possible fingerings that you should do. You may start a capo, a barré, right on this E, but then beware that you must mute those two notes when you start a F sharp, okay? Other possibility, easier not to forget, is to play the E with finger 2 and then on the A you put the capo. You can also, like you began with 1 and 2, you can also repeat 2, 1 and 2. Several possibilities. Choose what works best for you. Okay, tonic, dominant, tonic relative, dominant of the subdominant, subdominant, dominant, tonic. Then dominant. We are going to do a bordadura, an harmonic ornamentation of the dominant chord, because we are here with a E, and then we go back a semitone and then back to the first note. And also on the bass we played a C sharp, we go down one semitone and then we are back to the first note. So those two embellishment notes are supposed to be more tense, and I think it's easier to classify them as ornamentations than if we will look for a specific chord. Okay, so dominant, ornamentation, dominant, dominant, subdominant, tonic relative, dominant of the dominant, dominant, still dominant. Then we are passing a passing note, tonic, dominant of the dominant of the dominant, then dominant of the dominant with sixth and fourth, then the dominant of the dominant, and dominant. So tension of the tension of the tension, tension of the tension, and tension. And then it will finally be released on the next chord with which is the tonic anti-relative. Then the dominant of the subdominant relative, subdominant relative. Then this next chord, it is controversial. I don't like I don't think it's fair to say that classical composers really used changes of modes on their pieces. So a subdominant here, the subdominant is the G major. So when a composer uses a G minor, although it is easier to try to classify them as a subdominant minor. This is very uncommon on classical composers. However, Sor lives on that transition from classicism to romanticism. On the romantic era, those changes of modes are quite common. So I would usually classify in a different way, but because this piece has a tonic minor, I believe this is one of the exceptions. I would consider that a subdominant minor, already preparing for the tonic minor that will arrive later. So, in any case, the other possible analysis still consider that chord a subdominant. So, in both ways, it's a moderate tension. So subdominant minor, dominant, tonic minor, and here this change of mode, I think it's interesting to also change the color to make it darker, because the harmony also wants to make it sound darker. Compare. I will start with a subdominant minor. This would be the tonic, but now, as we know, with the tonic minor. Okay, so I change the color. Dominant, still tonic minor, subdominant minor, dominant of the dominant, and here we have a cadence or a cadenza. It's that part of the piece, that moment on a musical work, which the composer is about to come back to the theme, but before that, he has a long dominant chord prepared before. You can write down a melody for the cadence. It should be in this chord in A major. I thought that piece, being so short, so brief, so arpeggiated, I think it wouldn't be worthy making a cadenza here. But if you want to, this is the place where you should write a melody, and it should start and finish in an A major chord. Because probably you are going to write something short. It's better if it never changes the harmony and it's A major throughout. Okay, then back to the tonic, like at the beginning, as we have played before, and we are going to play something different on measure 29. So dominant of the tonic relative, subdominant relative, dominant with the 6th and 4th, dominant, and then tonic. Quite easy, quite simple. Just practice carefully, not to make any noise, and paying attention to the harmonic tension. Have fun, nice studies.